Alrighty. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We trying this again. So we're gonna see what happens, how it works, how everything goes, etc. 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 Hopefully it's going in all the locations. For y'all who this is your first time on the channel, welcome. I am none other than yours truly, Patrice L. Berry, EA. That EA is for enroll agent. So hopefully everything is working the way it needs to be working. I see it. Hopefully we're showing up on YouTube. We're supposed to be on Facebook, and we should be now on Instagram. I'm not going to be watching it on all of them. I got to work with the team so that we can make sure that we show up in all locations. But we here. So we're going to talk about some stuff this week. This is the last week of January 2026, the 26th through the 30th. And y'all, it was Snowmageddon where I live at. I swear my front yard looks like an ice skating rink. And I just want to start out by saying, the one thing I kind of miss about working for somebody else is the fact that I can't say that I have days off, right? I didn't have days off before when I worked for someone else either. Because if you give me a computer and an internet connection, then some way, somehow, I'm going to make sure that I am on the screen. So this is me still trying to figure out the best position because I see me going in and out on Instagram and not staying in the frame. So, like I said, I'll work with my team on that because y'all probably like, we see her name, she's moving too much. She's not doing the thing she's supposed to. Hop, hop. That's not the right space. Hop, hop. Getting my foot and making sure I stay in screen. Got it. Okay, so that's good for me. Boom. All right, so I'll stay in this location when I am on screen. Hopefully, y'all are staying warm. Prayerfully, y'all don't have anything else going on this weekend when it comes to winter weather, except for needing a coat, a scarf, and some gloves, which I can't find mine, and staying warm. So, we're going to get into this. I don't plan to be before you long because I have a game plan for this week. I told y'all last week that we were going to be talking about due diligence because the week before we were talking about what things and who can be a tax preparer, who you should work with, how to pick the right tax preparer, etc. And so this week, though, it's a lot that happened. A whole lot has happened in a short period of time. So we'll get into that before I get into my little due diligence speech. Due diligence is not little, but I want to make sure that we talk about some of the things that happened. Now, I'm not going to have a discussion about Trumpaccounts.gov. Why? Because I already did it for my email list. And so eventually that will show up in our tax tips section on the YouTube page. If you want to watch it, then go over to our YouTube page when it shows up. And if you're not sure it's going to show up anytime soon, subscribe to our channel. Why not? Hit the button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because that way, when it comes out, you'll know it's out. Stay in the know, of course. So, and then there will be in next week's social media some little clips and little reels where I do talk about it, but it went out in a newsletter this week, right? In my weekly newsletter. And if you like, well, how do I get the weekly newsletter? Now would be a great time for me to advertise how that's done. I got to talk to the team so we can make sure that you get on our email list so you get that every week, every Wednesday around 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We show up in your mailbox with an email, video email on a topic of me breaking stuff down. And because we got so much to talk about in 2026, because we got so much to talk about, guess what? Because we got to break down this one big beautiful bill and how it's going to impact y'all all year, and making sure that y'all know what y'all need to do, how you need to do, and whom you need to go speak to. It don't got to be me, but talk to somebody so that you can leverage some of the things that's going to show up in this here bill. All right? Because 2026, I told you, everything went live. Yes, we're doing 2025 taxes, but we really live and in effect, and stuff is going to start to show up like them Trump accounts, right? So you want to know what to do. All right, so I know we got this. Before I even go into the man suing the IRS. Before we even get there, I want to talk about something else. So we got a segment. Um, so let's share our screen. Let's make sure, y'all. Okay, for people who don't know me, because I am that tax nerd, I absolutely love the IRS.gov website. Why? Because I be all in their business. Did y'all know they have a criminal investigation press release page? What? You don't say. So you can figure out, if you nosy like me, what's making the news, who did what, why the people did some stuff, right? It's a lot of stuff on this IRS.gov page that I absolutely adore. It's so much more user friendlier than it was in the past. I need y'all to check it out. I do. I need y'all to check it out. Get it. Go find out what's going on with these people. I thought this article was interesting. And the reason why I thought it was interesting is because, like, it just got hit the presses and all this kind of stuff. They do the press releases, and just knowing from working in an IG shop how stuff has to go through certain levels and get approved before certain things can happen. I absolutely think this is interesting for this reason. It says the financial planner who did not file taxes or pay income tax on nearly $1.5 million in income is sentenced to federal prison. As he should be, right? As he $1.5 million. This gonna segue me into people suing the IRS. Okay, so now let's go into this. Let's really look at this. Why do I care about this? For one reason and one reason only. Because people be on the internet streets talking crazy about not filing their tax returns. And yes, they did say we're supposed to have smaller government and they not IRS going away and all this kind of stuff. But y'all, this just happened. This, y'all, that was dated earlier this week. A financial planner who failed to file income tax returns for 8 years after failing to do so for 7 earlier years. 8 plus 7 is how much, y'all? Y'all do the math, okay? Was sentenced today to 3 months in federal prison. I'm not showing my face. He only got sentenced for 3 months. But in a plea agreement, this gentleman admitted that he did not file a tax return from 2006 to 2012. After being contacted by tax authorities in 2013, Westbury filed delinquent returns for those years and a tax return for 2013. What does this mean? Y'all, because I do resolution, I understand. What he did was, hey, they came to you, told you needed to do what you needed to do, get yourself together, get yourself in compliance. He filed the returns he was supposed to, plus that current year return at that time, because he was contacted in 2013. Get your stuff together. Stop playing. Do autumn tax years. Get in compliance. However, he did not pay the income tax he owed for 2008 through 2013. He filed them late returns. There's taxes associated with it that he had to pay. He didn't pay the taxes. All right. So after filing the tax return in 2013, he just stopped filing tax returns. They already had come to you and told you, file them tax returns. You decided you just not gonna keep doing it. Cool. Hey, I got them off my back. They know I'm not gonna bother. I'm just not gonna keep filing tax returns. He did not file a tax return for any year between 2014 and 2021. Y'all, he, based off of these numbers, he won't gonna get the stimulus, or you know what I'm saying? He won't gonna get all the stuff he could get if he filed in 2020 and 2021, and right, the stuff that was coming in the check. He won't even thinking about it. He just, I'm not even gonna file. And I know, because I know some people who was like, hey, I'm not gonna file my return. I'm gonna do $1 return or something because I need that stimulus money. He won't thinking about a stimmy at all. During those years, Westbury had gross income of nearly $1.5 million for his work as a financial planner. He paid no income tax on those earnings during those years. he should have paid more than $250,000 in federal tax for that income. As a result of his failure to pay income taxes from 2008 to 2013, they put 2 liens on a piece of property. He did not go through with the purchase, but did not have the liens removed from the property. When the property owner tried to sell the property, the owner discovered IRS has liens on them. Okay, so y'all getting a taste of what can happen and what doesn't happen and what can't happen. Okay, so as an enrolled agent, somebody who deals with tax resolution situations, y'all see how much time it took. I'm not saying do this. Do not do this. But y'all see how much time it took for the IRS to come knock on his door and be like, "Hey, we know you got this income. You did not pay us the taxes we were supposed to have. You need to go and file that stuff, be in compliance, do what we need to do." And the reason why I say this is because I have people who come to me who think that the IRS is getting ready to come around them and come get them like Men in Black and hit them with the boop, boop, boop and take all their stuff. That it's a process. It is a process. Tax resolution is a process, but I'm going to tell you, don't play with these people. Don't sit around here not filing your taxes because eventually they're going to catch up to you. And yes, this man only got 3 months in jail, but he also got to pay these people taxes, right? You don't want to go to tax court. We don't want people being in the news, and you don't want to be a headline. Why do you want to be a headline? Don't do it. He must serve a 1-year term of supervised release after the prison. Now he in there for 3 months. Gotta serve that. He was ordered to make $264,502 in restitution to the IRS. And he's paid approximately $36,000 towards that restitution. He could have just filed and did what he was supposed to do. He now had to go to court. He now in an article. As a financial planner, he probably don't got his license. I don't know, because I don't do that. I'm not in that industry. I don't know what you got to do. Maybe he got to do some stuff to get his license back. Y'all let me know, okay? But yeah, don't be playing with these people in these tax streets and not filing your taxes if you know you need to report. It may come out that you don't owe. It may come out that you do owe. You don't want the notices. You don't want to potentially go to jail. You don't want the smoke. Don't do it. You don't want the smoke. And if you have not filed in a while, figure out what you got to do. That's where the people I told you that can help you when it comes from last week, that can help you, CPAs, enrolled agents, tax attorneys can actually be of assistance when it comes to representing you before the IRS. But y'all see, he had to file them tax returns first. You don't want revenue officers. You don't want revenue agents knocking on your door for stuff that you know you're supposed to do. This man made $1.5 million over those years, did not file taxes, decided he still wasn't going to file no taxes after they told him to get compliant. Don't do it. It's not worth it. How they find all that? That is in my audit and all section, right? Now, let's talk about, this don't even really fit into my balancing the beat section. Let's jump over and talk about this article that's on CNBC. Why? Because I seen this late at night, early this morning. Trump 2 sons. Trump organization sues IRS Treasury for $10 billion over tax records leaked. Y'all, this on CNBC. Like, this is the news. Y'all are probably watching this. This is in all y'all feeds. You don't need me to tell you this. This is crazy pants. So we announced Trump accounts earlier. Obviously, the president live signing executive orders. And in Florida yesterday, we find out he's suing the IRS Treasury for $10 billion. Now, I just showed you an article where one dude, he doing what he got to do for restitution. And now we over here and the president suing the IRS for $10 billion. Y'all, aren't we in a deficit as it is? I will tell you this. In my 48 years of living, have I ever heard of something like this? I have not. Do I know? I'm going to say it in this way. I guess we in America, right? We in the United States of America, and you can sue whomever you want to sue. Is this the first time the government has been sued for something? No. Like, you know what I'm saying? You've seen local government sued. You've seen national government. We've seen it. We've definitely seen it. I'm gonna keep my opinions elsewhere. I'm grateful for the communities that I am, where I can actually like type stuff that I think, and don't nobody beat me up too much. But this is a new one for me. $10 billion over. My thing is, I don't even know how attorneys. Y'all let me know if a tax attorney can break it down, or if any attorney can break this down. How did they even come up to the dollar amount that maybe it's based on stuff he lost? How did they figure out that $10 billion is going to be the amount we're going to sue for? This is going to be interesting as it unfolds. What happens? This is what it says. If you haven't seen it, I'm assuming everybody has, because we like, this is a new one for us. President Donald Trump had, let's make this bigger, okay? Let's make this bigger so y'all can see it. President Donald Trump, his two eldest sons, and his family businesses sued the Internal Revenue Service and the U.S. Department of Treasury over alleged leaks of their confidential tax information. So my understanding is the person who actually did the leaking confessed from the already, right? The plaintiff seeks at least $10 billion in damages, according to the lawsuit in Miami federal court. The IRS wrongly allowed a rogue, politically motivated employee to leak private and confidential information about the president, his family, and the Trump organization to several media outlets. It was a former IRS employee somewhere in Trump term 1 that actually did the leak. And it says that the suit was filed 3 days after the current secretary said he had canceled all of his department's contracts with Booz Allen Hamilton in connection with the company's contractor. Y'all. So, do y'all understand? I'm in the DMV area. Booz Allen cleans up in the DMV. Do y'all understand? They canceled the contract. This administration said, don't play. You don't want the smoke. Do not do it. Just don't be playing in our face, because it's going to be consequences. Not just for you, but everybody associated with it. This is crazy. No, the person should not have done the leak. No, the person shouldn't have done what they were supposed to do. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Oh boy, is out of order. Don't be leaking people information. Number one, you a contractor. Number two, do not be leaking information you don't have no business leaking. Now, this happened before. I'm sure you got in a whole bunch of trouble doing it. They just was like, this week is a great week to let y'all know everybody can get it. And everybody, I guess, gonna be the American people, because where the $10 billion gonna come from? Little John is serving a 5-year prison sentence after having pled guilty in October 23 to one count of disclosure of tax return information. He admitted to leaking this information to the New York Times, and also admitted to leaking records about wealthy individuals. So it wasn't just these people, but he was telling on everybody, because he was in the business, and he that's an abuse of power. Truthfully, that's an abuse of power. And maybe he felt like we had a right to know. There's protocol and things that can be done to make this information go out. You can't just be like, I'm gonna take it upon myself because I got access to this information for the people to know. That sounds like some other people that's no longer in this country that got themselves in certain situations. I'm not gonna name no names. We can't be the jury and the judge, people. We can't be. Now, let's look at timeline. This person did this in 2019 to 2020, first administration, admitted to it, is serving a 5-year prison sentence. Now, do y'all think, or is it just me? This one person who ain't paid taxes and owe the money, he in jail for 3 months. This person who leaked the information of the wealthy peoples went to jail for 5 years, and he's currently in jail, and he admitted he did not do it. Attorneys, I can't wait to go hear how y'all break this stuff down and what can be done and what can't be done and why is it doing. My thing is, where the $10 billion coming from the Treasury? If they go to court, this is proven. Now, mind you, everything I'm telling y'all is from the lens of an accountant. I am not an attorney. I don't know if this can be done or not. Suing, you can do a case for anybody. But let's say this go to court, everything is good to go, then they gotta go pay out. How this gonna get paid out? That, I think, is my biggest question. $10 billion in my Goldfinger in them voice. $10 billion. Where is that coming from? Who's going to pay that? How long are kids gonna be paying that back to the president, his family, and his organization? I mean, just I digress. Says the defendants have caused plaintiffs reputational and financial harm, public embarrassment, unfairly tarnished their business reputations, portrayed them in a false light, and negatively affected the president and the other plaintiffs' public standing. So I guess it's all the wealthy people, right? But Trump has reportedly made similar moves in the recent past. The New York Times reported in October that Trump sought $230 million from the Department of Justice as compensation for its past investigations into him. So this is not new. This is what they do. That's on CNBC. Go check it out for yourself. I don't even have words. I don't. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time. Should the person have done it? Should the contractor have done it? No. By no means the person shouldn't have done it. Right? Did he feel justified? Well, he got you a jail sentence for it, and a reputation, and it cost money to the company that you work for. When it comes to contracting, because Booz Allen Hamilton definitely, like I say, is a big baller, and gets a lot of contracts. Let's hope it doesn't impact any other revenue for them. I'm sure there's something else that's happening to make sure things are done well and corrected. We're going to see how this plays out. We definitely going to see how this plays out. We're going to pray that it plays out well. It's consequences for your actions. Don't be out in these streets, and don't be doing anything to these people in this administration. You probably can't do it anyway where you at. Just watch your back. Watch your back, because they here for all the smoke. They don't care. All right? I'm going to switch over to the topic that I wanted to talk to today, which is due diligence requirements for taxpayers. For tax preparers. All right, we're going to hit this briefly, and then we'll be back with you next week, because my intention is not to just inundate y'all. I told y'all we will be on from 12 to noon with information that's happening, that's hot in the week. This just happened to be a really busy week. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff that hit. Of course, sexy or not sexy stuff that's going on when it comes to stuff with the president. He everywhere. He ended January with a bang. I'm tired. Is anybody else tired? Like, I thought January was okay. Not only is all this stuff going on, we start tax season. And we just can't get to January 31st good before some stuff happens. All right. Let me tell you what due diligence is and why I wanted to talk about this topic. Due diligence is about asking the right questions, evaluating the answers, keeping thorough records, and protecting your practice. Who practice? My practice. Your practice. Anybody else who's a tax professional. I actually, like I've said before, I'm a former auditor. No, I've never worked at the IRS, but I have the auditor's mindset. And I want to have everything just in case. Not only could the IRS audit you, but the IRS could audit me and my firm, and I'm not looking for that to happen. And if it does happen, I want to be ready. Even if you get a notice where you have to be audited or you have to produce some information, I want to make sure that we have the things in place to be able to assist you, because I've said this before, when you get a notice from the IRS, there are psychological and physiological things that happen to your body that make you freak out. I get it. Your hands get sweaty. Your palms get sweaty. You don't want to open a notice. You like, they're coming for all my stuff. They're going to do all this stuff. And as I've shown you in the first segment, it take a minute. They gentlemen. I tell you, IRS is a gentleman. The states are Rumpelstiltskin coming for your firstborn. 100%. And so therefore, I want you to be mindful as to what is done, how it's done, where it's done, and what is required as us as professionals. As professionals, the things that we have to do. Don't assume that there's certain rules we don't have to follow and we can go out here like the Wild Wild West. We're not supposed to be doing that. We do have due diligence that we have to adhere to. There's certain rules and regulations. It's a whole segment. We're going to make sure that eventually this link gets out, right? And we're not going to be doing, I don't know any tax professional, big box, individual, whatever, that's out here charging prices that's going to send them to go to jail. Like, nobody is voluntarily being like, yeah, I'm going to do this because I want to go to jail. Now, people do some stuff that don't make no sense, which is going to give me ripe information for the fraud and us to investigate what they did wrong so that we don't make those same mistakes as tax preparers and as taxpayers, right? Because what did we learn from that first person? We learned all day long, as a taxpayer, file your darn returns. There is consequences if you don't file them on time. It could lead up to not just restitution, but your butt going to jail. And depending on who you are, now your reputation jacked. Why do you want to do that? Ain't no need for anybody to be out here doing some stuff like that when it's uncalled for, right? So there's certain things that have to be kept for a period of time. I want you to, let's go through the list. Not my list, my favorite website. What website is that? IRS.gov. What records are we as tax professionals required to keep? As a preparer, I'm required to maintain for 3 years, not 1,000 years, for 3 years, a copy of Form 8867. That's my due diligence checklist. Worksheet showing how I computed the earned income tax, the child tax credit, the what's the other? American continual education credit. That's not that. I'm trying to think of what they are. All them credits when it comes to education, when it comes to child care, when it comes to earned income. We supposed to keep the support for that. Any client documents I relied on to determine the eligibility for these credits, that's all that stuff in my organizer. So if you one of my clients and you asking why I got to fill all this stuff out, why am I putting this in here? Why am I asking the questions the way I am? And why I got to do this every year? This why. Notes of how, when, and from whom you received the information, and records of any extra questions you asked. This is why I use my chat feature in my portal, because I am building my audit trail and my notes and my case before anybody come here. Why? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Now, there may be some fine tuning we got to do, but you have to think and begin with the end in mind. Why? That's the 7 habits of highly effective people. Begin with the end in mind. Worst case scenario is somebody going to be asking us some questions, and I want to be able to be prepared ahead of time if it comes, so we know how to get out of the situation. That's it. That's it. Auditor mindset. The 3-year period starts from the latest of the due date of the return. In this case, it will be April 15th, 2026. The date you e-filed the return, I could file it as early as this week. right? The date you handed a paper return to your client for signature, the date you submitted your part of return to the signature signing preparer if you're not signing preparer. It say the latest. In most cases, right? Because we could be in an extension period. In most cases, we're talking about either the due date or if we're talking about an extension period later in the year. So there may be some times in there to be like, oh, you did it outside of the window, and that's what they're talking about. The biggest thing that needs to happen for professionals, the biggest thing that needs to happen is that we are using our professional judgment, our professional skepticism, besides just relying on tax software. Why? Because software is only as good as the programmer. And there's times that I've actually had to go and say, hey, I think this is programmed wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with it, right? It happens. Technology is here today, gone tomorrow. We can't just, AI is here to help us. We will be relying on technology. Some of it will save us time. Some of it will frustrate the mess out of us. But at the end of the day, it is also the fact that you've gone to continual education. You've gotten experience. You've seen situations like this in the past. And I'm not just talking about tax professionals here. All right. I'm talking about anybody that's a professional. Don't think that AI is just going to be the end of all things. We still got a brain. You still got situations that right now, right? You still got situations that you have experienced that you can go back to your remembrance in the past. Come on, Jesus. And actually bring it to the forefront to be like, I was in a situation like this before and this is how I solved it. All right. It's about exposure. It's about being experienced. It's about circumstances. It's about using your resources. It's about knowing who to tap into. It's about knowing where to put stuff together. And when I used to be an auditor, when we didn't have it black and white, because I've done financial statement audits, black and white, when I've done performance audits and I had to prove a negative, sometimes it's actually building a case to prove the negative. Hopefully that resonates. This is not just for tax professionals. It's not for accountants. It's for people in general. There will be a time where your professional judgment, your experiences, and you being able to properly communicate and articulate that to people is going to make a difference. It is your experiences. It is the life you've traveled. It is the way you know how to present that information so people can absorb it and use it and apply it so that they are successful. That is going to make a difference. Everything else is a tool. To include AI, everything else is a tool. And you should be able to find ways to inform yourself so that you can leverage these tools so you can show up as the best version of you to serve out here in this space. That's either if you're an employee and you on your job. That's if you're an entrepreneur and you building a business and you trying to get out here and be known. Whatever it is, do it to your might, but rely on all your life experiences that have gotten you here to be able to show up as the best version of you so that you can serve accordingly and actually use these tools and use them for good, not for evil. There are consequences for your actions. We are watching what is happening, and it feels like at times everybody winning but us. I'm going to tell you again, stay on the right side of right. That's what my father always tells me. Stay on the right side of right. Because at that point, you can go to sleep well, you can eat well, and you can know that you've done what you were supposed to do, and you ain't got to be looking over your shoulder every other hour, every other second, because you did the right thing. Stand for justice. Live your life the way you know it's supposed to be lived. Don't be trying to get over on people, no matter who you are, no matter what you do. Because somebody got a rule and a regulation that they can hold you to whenever they decide they want to pull the trigger. We see this. The president is suing the Department of Treasury for $10 billion. And somebody going to have to pay that money. Why? Because somebody who was an employee made a bad decision for whatever reason and cost themselves, a company, and so many others, because I know one way the money getting into the treasury is taxes. Somebody gonna have to pay this back if this go through. All right. So that's all I got for y'all this week. That's it. I don't got nothing more. We will be back next week. Can y'all give us a round of applause? I gotta work on my sound effects. Can y'all give us a round of applause? Because we have made it another week. Now, we will get to the point where y'all can give comments and I can actually see the comments, and I'm working with the production team to do this. Right now, this is me in here learning how to get into more locations at one time. We've done that. We figured out how to stream. Now, I had some technical difficulties at the beginning, so that's why we got a part one and a part two. But I want to thank you for those who are still here. I got 5 people still looking, 3 people who gave me a thumbs up. I'm glad that you stopped by. We are here every week from noon to 1 o'clock to break down what we see that's interesting in this space when it comes to the stuff in the tax streets. This is Talks with the Tax Guy, and it ain't gonna just be me on here. If there's a question you got, if there's a topic you want me to break down, if you got more interest in something so I can actually put it in my terms, let your girl know in the comments, because that's the only way we're going to actually allow this show to improve. I'm being obedient, y'all. I'm doing it scared, and I want to encourage you that you can also do this scared. If it's something that God has whispered to you and you like, I don't want to do it, put yourself out there. Because 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I wasn't even on all 3 platforms, and I definitely wasn't actually learning how to move stuff through this. Now, next thing is we're going to have the comments. We're going to have a way for you to call in, and we're going to be able to be here to serve you and show up in this capacity. It's a stretch for me. But because I committed to myself and in being obedient that I was going to show up, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do the best I can with the information, and I'm going to present it with my little tax cop spin. So that's all we got for you for this week. Until next week, y'all. Let me love on you always. We out of here. Peace.